She does?
No.
That was the creative skeptic.
It's all good.
Okay. I guess I just wanted to bring you guys together because we haven't met that much this semester, and I guess first thing, let's go around and share our names because I don't know if Stephanie might have met a lot of you guys. Okay.
Sorry, I did not realize you were the same Stephanie on base camp, and so I kept seeing you with Rich. I'm like, man, you look so familiar with stuff that I'm aware.
It's been
Same stuff.
sorry, Stephanie. Okay. I'm taking classes here and in Pellissippi, so I guess I'm more involved in their AIGA. I'm their president there, so I'm trying to get stuff like this to happen, but nobody will come. Pellissippi is really difficult because it's small, but I don't know. I was hoping people would come. I told them.
That's okay.
I even told the web program to you. It's just, I don't know. I think they go to class and leave it there because there's no college left. No one can go.
Do you know Caitlin Smith?
Yes. Cool. Yeah. So she does our posters and stuff. She has the communication class.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Joy Anna. Let me say that again. I'm Joy Anna. Here. And I'm the student liaison to the Knoxville chapter, so I communicate with presidents and tell them about events and also communicate with other members. Yeah, I used to be on the student board with Stephanie with Philosophy. So pretty cool. Yes, pretty much.
I'm Ray, and I'm used to senior graphic design. That's pretty much it. I'm Jessica, and they're different.
I'm Melody, and I'm also a senior.
But you guys all work places too, right?
Yeah, I work for a Slater South, so I do all their graphic design work. I intern at Robin Eastern. And Kyoko, visual communications officer for VP Knoxville's section. And getting an interview for an internship at Morris, so I'm going to schedule that for this upcoming week. So I'm excited. Yay. I'm Emily, and I'm a junior in the graphic design program.
And I'm Brian. I'm also a junior in graphic design program.
I'm Haley, and I'm a junior.
3 juniors.
So I guess the biggest thing is these guys all come from different backgrounds, and so for me, I've learned more about what a designer is by working with them, and so I just think it would be really good for us to just kind of ask them, if there's anything you want to ask them about what they do, anything, okay? So I have questions to ask, but you guys will just talk about your background, or what you do, what your favorite color is.
Sure. I'm Rosalind, web content specialist. So everything from the tiny little buttons on the site to product page to explaining, how to use your product. I write that stuff. Graduated writing communications at Maryville College in South Carolina.
I'm Audra. I am the project manager for the team, for the e-commerce team, which is the web development and the creative side. Although I have a counterpart who is the creative director, so she kind of manages really Meredith. But overall, I make sure our ship moves in the right direction. So that's my job. But my background is I have a degree in English literature, and I have a master's in public administration, so it doesn't apply at all to what I do. But I just fell into the field and loved it. So that's what I do.
I'm Everett. I'm a web developer. I went to UT for a little bit, and then went to Pellissippi to finish my programming degree. I've been with RSC for 6 years. Pretty much always been into programming.
What is programming?
Oh, yeah. Talk to you on the phone.
Oh, yeah. I was like, why are you talking to me? We just talk.
So I mostly do back-end programming, but I'm also capable of doing turning your guys' designs into HTML.
What's back-end programming?
So user experience and how the website works, pricing, customer management, face interaction.
But you know a lot about marketing and stuff like that, and development side of that. So.
It comes naturally. I think everyone in the field will pick up on it, but especially since when I started, we were a 3-person team, and now we're 11, 12. So when we're a smaller team, there were a lot more broader responsibilities. So.
Did you ever have to take on like the responsibilities of an information architect, or was that kind of left to another firm?
Yeah, especially when we were smaller, and that's actually more where my responsibilities lie now. I'm at senior level, so we do a lot of the architecture, designing how a system would work, and then we can either work with a vendor or have teammates implement, or obviously I still do implementation. But that's actually one of my favorite things to do is designing data systems.
Sounds awful. I mean, it's a lot. Do you have to like really do math?
No,
Like
it's
real math?
not really. In my early programming days, I did a lot of the like physics and simulation. So there's a lot of math involved in that, but there's not a whole lot of math in what I do now, just basic addition. So, but I remember taking an accounting class here at UT and failing because I was making database structures during class. I just had an idea and structured it instead of paying attention. Counting is not my thing.
Computer programs.
So, what do you guys think like a designer is?
I know, a magician.
For me, I guess I'm totally logical. I have no design talent at all. I've tried many times, so they're a crucial part of making that first impression and making a good user experience that something that's memorable for our site. We actually get quite a few compliments on our flagship site for just how good it looks. So maybe that's a little biased, but I think it's awesome.
One thing a designer does is makes what you visualize happen. Like anybody can do like a sketch, or this is what I think the page should look like. But the designer is the person who goes in and actually makes sure all of it's going to work together, and all the other systems, everything looks good too.
I've been working with Meredith lately on software team things, so like not just website, but she's been designing some actual software. So
I've never done. I have no idea what I'm doing.
it's really cool because we'll say, well, we wanted to do this, this, and this, and that we bring the idea to Meredith, and she comes up with how the user is going to interact with it, and how it's going to look clean, and how can she communicate in a very clear, concise way. Something that's very complicated, actually, she's able to make it a lot easier. And I mean, to me, that's what the designer does, is breaks it down for people.
What about in like print? What is a designer in print? Or how is it different, I guess, maybe to you guys? Is that a real question? I don't know, I never worked with designers.
That's a question we do ask our designers in our interview. I'm pretty sure we asked you that one, but I think the mediums differ a lot. It's obviously you have interaction with the website, whereas with print you have more flexibility to make just something pop really well in a fixed medium. Whereas with a website you need to focus on how your user is going to be interacting with what you've designed, and the different ways they're going to be accessing it, whether it be a phone or a desktop browser.
Could have other questions, right? No, go ahead. I don't have really any.
Okay, well, I have a question for you, Rosalyn, just because I'm just now starting to realize that there is a huge difference between, like, that basically the job of a graphic designer is not the same as a content writer. I have trouble
Figured this out
separating
today in
the two of
class.
them because I'm very concept driven. So, how much do you find that the designer is influencing the content? Like, is there an influence, or is it really just you already have the concept out and they just kind of have to visualize it?
Well, there's kind of a back and forth. Sometimes we start with a design and then we get to fill in the content later, or I know what I want to say and then give it to Meredith and say, here, make this pretty. And then there's also a lot of back and forth too, because once you see it in the design, you have to make some tweaks and some changes. And I mean, you know, I can do some of the same things that she can do. I can work in Photoshop and make a hero, but I might not always know how it's gonna, like making a responsive hero. You know, that might be something that we leave to a designer. Or, you know, making the code for a page. I can get the basic HTML, but have to have the CSS and, you know, the classes and the styling before I can actually do anything. So there's a lot of back and forth with the different members.
Audra, can you like talk about like the project front to back? Because I think that's one thing like they don't really teach us in schools, like what that looks like. And so I don't know. I think that's where a lot of the fear comes from for students. Like when they first get out, they're like, well, I mean, how does it work? Like what happens? You know, like what does it even sound like or look like?
So like a typical like website project?
Yeah, you can talk about like maybe the international one or whatever.
Sure. So we start out with kind of coming up with our list of things that we think we're going to need to do. And we kind of set, if we're working with somebody, we start with a scope, basically, what is this project going to entail? Very minimal, kind of keep it short and sweet, but try to put some guardrails to our project so that we're not all over the place. The next thing we do is we create some user journeys. We don't always. With a larger project, the one that we're doing with international, for example, we already have sort of our domestic site, so we don't really need a user journey because we already have the user journey on our domestic site. But for some other things, we'll create a user journey. This customer will come through here and go here, and then the designer will take those and create wireframes. And then we'll create user stories or things that fill up the requirements of what we need for that project. And at that point, that's when we task everything out, once we know what the project's going to look like. So we work hand in hand. The creative team works with the dev team, the development team can start working on things even though the design's not really there yet, because they know they have to build the functional back-end stuff before we try to make it so it marries together in this beautiful launch. Yes, we spent a lot of time going to that and testing it and all of that stuff. So there's definitely testing and then regression testing, and going back and changing things and tweaking it and then launching. So
How even like reversing back even further back, Rosalind, where do you get your content from? I mean, I kind of know, but like in general, like I know you're just talk about it.
Well, I mean, it really depends. For some of the groups we work with in the company, that the way the company is structured, everybody's like focused on different products. You know, the doors people, we have the fence people, the toys people. Sometimes they give you, they're called SBUs. We don't actually say the toys people. So sometimes that's what they want to say, and you know, we put it up and do some tweaks. Other times we figure out what we're missing. You know, maybe we have this product manual for a fence, and we say, okay, well, this is fine, but this isn't explaining it well enough to the user. You're not making it clear, like a step-by-step, so we would make the content. You know, or we'll say, hey, we need you guys to provide this, this, and this. Yeah, so some of it we generate, some of it's generated by them. And we also work with other vendors too, who, you know, write articles for us, or, you know, articles for our site, or like SEO articles that we put in other places. So not all the content that we have is going to be on our site, but it might, you know, be kind of for sending people to our site, if that makes sense.
Could you just give a general overview of where you guys work and how big the company is? Because I feel like a lot of people don't know where you work.
Yes.
Oh yeah, sorry.
They're just like fences and websites.
So we all work together with Meredith at Radio Systems Corporation. It's the parent company for brands like PetSafe and Invisible Fence and Sport Dog and several other small ones that get less love. They make pet products from containment, wireless fences, invisible fence type products to toys, pet doors, getting into treats.
kitty litter.
kitty litter. Don't remind me.
That's a technical.
What was the domain that we found?
It's a topic at every happy hour.
We owned a domain called We Make Pee and Poo Sexy.
That's for you.
For me, always sexy. It's just, oh, that's sexy. It's done. Like, we've sexified this. It is good. We're done.
I have a question. So you said that, like, you mentioned something about like an interview, like something that you asked during interviews for graphic designers. Are you guys involved in the interview process then?
So usually it's a two-step interview process, and the first one is like one-on-one with like I guess the first gate, which is in Emeritus case,
have,
I
like,
guess
4
that would be
interviews.
Christy.
Christy and Brett. I had Brett or Brandon first before we even
Oh, well,
consider.
you happened to.
And then
meet him, yeah.
Christy, and then the group, and then Brett. But it was like, I felt like I had to prepare 4 different times.
I had to go through the same thing.
It was awful. It was so scary. Bye. See ya.
So who are those people?
So the first one is usually the manager, the direct manager. So in my case, it would be Brett or whoever's over the development group. In Meredith's case, I think if we were to interview a new designer, they would interview with Christy.
She's the art director.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
creative
creative
director.
director, yeah.
Creative director of our meeting.
And then once you pass that level, you get a team interview typically, where a good portion of the team is in there. I mean, I guess we were all in there for Meredith's.
So
Yeah.
how did Meredith in person?
Hey,
What did she do?
Well, walk them through like what that interview process is like, and like what kind of questions you ask, and like what you guys are looking for from a designer, like that may be like focused in web or digital or anything like that.
Right, because I would imagine that an art director would do an interview, but I guess I didn't think about the fact that like everyone else would be involved too.
A huge portion of what we base our decision on is whether we think you fit in the culture. So you have to be a good teammate, and that's almost more important than your ability. Because if you can't work with the team, then you can't
Doesn't matter how
anything.
good you are.
So
Yeah.
we did have to let a couple of people go who had the talent, but just weren't able to work with the team. So that second interview is mostly the team getting a feel for how you work and whether they would be able to get along with you on a day-to-day basis. It's not meant to scare you, but
See if you like us
It
too.
is.
But I think
It
we were
is.
kind of harsh on,
Yeah.
we were harsh.
Oh man,
It's a very-
tell them. I mean, well, just tell them like
Chris
the questions.
corrected her resume and said she spelled something wrong.
Tell Mario Kart with a C and not a K.
yeah.
Which I should have
Mario
known.
that was almost a deal breaker.
I don't know where I had it. I had it somewhere.
It was on your website.
It was awful. So like, ask them or talk about like questions or things that you're interested in. Like, what do you think of, if you were going to interview a designer, what were some things you guys would ask?
Well, usually the thing that we ask, and actually they do this for my job too, is they show you the website and we say, what would you fix? What do you think? What would stay the same? And then kind of based off that. And it's not just saying, oh, I would make this green or blue, but like giving a reason why, or diving a little bit deeper and maybe giving a more detailed explanation. Once you've seen more pages of the site.
You showed your website?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That really impressed us. with
Yeah, Meredith did a good job of auditing our site, calling out what she thought she would do different than what we did.
She had like a whole PDF suggestions.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
it was good. I mean, it was really good because our team is, we're an agile shop, which means the team is more important, as Everett said, than the actual any one person on the team. So, what's really important that is to get constructive feedback and learn from it, and so that you improve. It's continuous improvement. So that was really impressive that she spent the time to do that. And then, because some people are so scared they're going to hurt somebody's feelings, and I think that's a lot of times people are afraid of designers for that reason, is because they're afraid. That's your baby. You created that, and somebody's going to come tell you, well, I don't like that. And no, but to be able to take that constructive feedback and modify it and do whatever, I think that's.
What's one thing that you guys have found about designers that are like if you could stereotype this, and you're not gonna hurt me, Audrey, you're not gonna do this, but if you could stereotype us and like tell us something that we could do better or change or change our route. Because I can say what developers are, you know.
Really? Threatening us?
Live in the dark.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
they do. We have to sit in the dark.
What do you think? Ever?
Pass. I don't know.
What do you think about the design culture in Knoxville then? Since you contract or work out to designers.
I don't really understand a lot of what you guys are into.
What are we into there?
Culture is this.
It's gonna be a stereotyping session.
No, the whole point is to learn like more about us because we don't know, you know, and so I think it equips you to start meeting other people in the field to help understand like where there's the communication gaps and stuff.
All right, I got one. All designers love Apple. They want to mimic their products and their site.
That's true.
That's true.
I love Apple, but I do not want to mimic them because I feel like everybody's doing that. And it's
Yes.
annoying.
And please get rid of that flat design. Why was it? I'm sorry.
Do you have any?
Flat design?
I've
love
not.
flat
I've got
design.
an iPhone and I regret it.
I don't like the new map, but I like it. What's one thing that you guys have like, your first thought about graphic designers and how has it kind of changed as you've started working on them more? Or has it changed?
I guess I thought the designers would actually do more of the like slicing stuff, but and I think there's a huge market for designers that have that ability.
Slicing
that
stuff.
flexibility.
Like CSS.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
If you
a
can-
immediate
yeah.
pay increase.
Yeah, that is,
So
that's huge.
if you're looking for job security, start learning some CSS.
So how does that work exactly when you're talking about slicing and like basic HTML? Are you expecting them to have like, you know, all the images for the site prepared for the web person to come in and put them into div tags or whatever they're putting them in? So like prepackaged, the website's all broken up and each asset that you would need is all in there and you can
Yep.
grab it and place it in instead of having to open the PSD, slice it, and do it
Right.
yourself.
It's-
There is an action that I've found a tutorial on that you can run as a script. I don't know, in Photoshop, I just followed a tutorial. And so all I have to do is select the layer or group of layers and hit play, and it kicks it out to a separate. Have you done that? I didn't learn that until after I spent too long slicing things. Like if you have, let me explain it. It's like if you have a PSD file, and let's say you have 10 layers, and on all 10 of those layers you have images. And so you guys remember like from when we were learning HTML, like, you know, you gotta extract those images, right, with no background sometimes with the background. So there's a little script that you can basically make. It's like in a palette, and you just click on the layer and you can hit play. And so what it does is it runs through these actions that you've asked Photoshop to have, and it kicks it out to a separate file for you. And then that way you're not like literally cropping and cutting and deleting your layers and stuff. And then it holds your original file all intact. It's like real quick.
Time saver.
It's like, I think it goes.
Well, what are like, I don't know, talk about like qualities of like a good designer, or like what do you guys look for in portfolios and interviews?
Or what you done before?
I think one good aspect of your interview was where you called out from the customer or visitor's perspective. Now we're all web-based,